What's up, glowing goddesses? Welcome into the Divine Feminist by Turning Tides Tarot. My name is Alicia. Let's get into just the vibe. We're going to start to see what vibe you are going to be experiencing today, tomorrow, maybe next week. I mean, this could be going on right now, or it could be something that's predictive for you. So let's just get right into it. What's the vibe for our glowing goddesses here on the Divine Feminist, please, Spirit? Okay, we have hunger, full moon energy, wolf moon energy. We have action and change. Look, I feel like that is very, very, very straightforward. We also have the path at the bottom of the deck here. That's awesome. I feel like a lot of us are getting back on track or wanting something to change, taking action towards change. There's just an overall vibe and a feeling that it's like you're ready for it, right? You're ready for it. So let me know in the comments, are you already taking, action towards changing something in your world? But I feel like this is purpose driven. It's you getting into alignment with what feels right for you on your path, your journey, and it doesn't really feel like it's a tower moment, like coming from the outside. I feel like some of you are avoiding tower moments in your life right now, and it's interesting because sometimes when we know or we want change to happen and then we refuse to take action even though we're really like desperate for something to change in our world, the universe will step in and kind of pull the rug out from under your feet if you're deciding not to be the one to make that conscious decision to change something in your world. But when you do and you're going with the flow of that desire, that drive for change, we do see things line up for you a lot easier, and then you don't need to go through any kind of towers or external breakdowns, so that the universe kind of like pushes you in that direction of change. Okay. In tarot we do see often, the imagery of a tower moment is quite intense, and it can feel very chaotic and wild as you're going through some kind of drastic change when the universe does pull the rug from underneath you. But it's always for your greatest and highest good, and it usually comes through when we are secretly desiring some kind of shift or change in our world anyway, but we just don't have the wherewithal or the idea, or how we sometimes we don't know how or what needs to change, and that's when towers will kind of be dropped. um but in this case, divine feminist, whoever's reading this is right now, you already know what needs to change, and you're already taking this kind of like preemptive action. Okay, so this feels really good. Actually, it feels very welcome. It feels like you know exactly what you want and where you want to be, and the universe is here supporting this energy for you on your path and journey. Okay, so let's just see what the vibe is. Incoming energy. Yeah, you have made this decision for yourself, and you are looking out to the future. You're not wanting to go back in any kind of way. Okay, you are looking for different results, and we hear that saying, keep doing the same things over and over, and that's the definition of insanity, expecting different results, yada yada yada. um, you're not doing that. You're like, okay, I've already decided, I know what I want, and I'm going after it, and I'm taking this idea out into the world, and there's nothing that's going to stop me. And as I say that, we pull out this Nine of Swords. It doesn't mean that it doesn't come with fear or anxiety, or even pushing yourself past any kind of, well, what if it doesn't work? What if it all blows up in my face? What if it's not? What if it all drops? The floor drops off from underneath me, or whatever. What if things go wrong? This is the unnecessary worry about it all. But sometimes when we're pushing ourselves for some kind of drastic change that you are hungry for, okay, we do have to push past those fears, and they're here. I mean, this is the ego, this is the mind energy. This is like telling us that, you know, change is scary. Change is, we don't know. We love the certainty, right? The ego loves the predictable, loves the certainty of it all. So when we're stepping outside of our comfort zone, when we're doing something different, this is just going to pop up to be acknowledged and worked through. Okay, so if you find yourself over analyzing or anxious or fearful of some of these big changes that you are consciously driving towards, just kind of say, okay, well, this is the worst case scenario. I don't want to manifest this for myself. We're going to course correct in our mind so that we're not bringing about unconsciously these situations, all the worst case scenarios that could happen. We're going to tell ourselves, none of this stuff is actually going on. There's nothing actually that I have to worry about. We're going to take it one step at a time. And we're going to try to keep ourselves grounded in the present moment, whether that's through breath work or whatever. And you're not going to judge yourself or those fears or those thoughts. We're just going to acknowledge that they exist, and then we're going to keep pushing. Okay, that's what this is coming up to kind of tell us. It doesn't mean that we're not terrified of doing the thing or making the change or taking that action that needs to happen. We're just working through it. Okay, we're working through it. What do we have here? We have the Four of Cups. I feel like the drive for this change is coming through for you because you were just simply dissatisfied with where you were. Life was feeling a little bit boring, a little bit blah, and I feel like you just come to a point where you're like, I just can't. This isn't what I want. This isn't the life I want to live, okay? And that's fair enough, okay? I feel like that is what trumps the fears. You're like, do you really just want to settle for something that doesn't feel exciting for you? No. You are living through the heart-centered energy at the moment with the Queen of Cups. You really are tapping in like intuitively. You know what's right for you. You know what feels good. You're connecting again with that heart center and with your feelings, and you're going off of what feels good for you. Okay. And you're having no problem expressing that. You're like, I don't want to be bored. I don't want to be stuck in this situation forever. I actually just need to work through this fear, anxiety, and just do the thing. Just do the thing. Okay. So whether that's putting yourself out there or changing a career or focusing on a gift, a talent, a craft, something like that. It could be anything. It could be moving to a new country or a new state or a new city or anything. It could even be going off and doing something on your own, whether that's traveling or just maybe pulling back from relationships, situations, friendships, dynamics that just aren't working for you so that you can just get in touch with yourself. Sometimes with the Hermit, this gives like a pilgrimage type of like a spiritual pilgrimage type of journey to me, where this is like what you know this to be true. You have learned a lot about yourself, what feels good for you, what doesn't, what's satisfying, what isn't, all that kind of stuff. So it's like you already have the answers within you, and this is like you knowing what's best for you. So if you have to pull away, if you have to do something on your own, you know this is the right path for you. Okay, and it is something. It's actually giving a lot of spiritual undertones. So if some of you are aligning with more spiritual work or like going off to school or to study or something like that, you know exactly what it is that you want, and it is on track. It's part of your destiny. It's part of your path. You're fated to do it. Okay, and you have the wisdom. You've already kind of like been there, done that, and you can write the book about it with the Hermit energy. Okay, you have gained a lot of wisdom so far, and you are qualified for this shift. Does that make sense to you? Let me know. Okay, we do have the Five of Wands, which tells me that some of you may be at odds within the self, or maybe you feel like there could be a lot of competition, or this is a kind of change. Fives are always about changes, but they're also challenge. So this is a challenge for you. Again, I do feel like you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, or maybe doing something that might be perceived as like completely out of the box or out of pocket, by your social group or whatever. You're doing something different, but you're doing something that's changing your life, and you're doing it on purpose. So who cares what other people have to say? But you could be feeling some of this like, again, a little anxiety, a little bit of fear about doing something a little bit, or putting yourself out there in some kind of way, okay, and making this change. But you've gone back and forth, and you know this is what you need. Again, you have what it takes to get through this and to accomplish what it is that you're setting out to change in your life, whatever it is you're so hungry for, right? So love this for you. With the Five of Wands, there was another message coming through. If it's something like, I got to give it a little example here, because let's say you want to be, let's say, a yoga instructor, okay? I'm just going to use yoga instructor because there's a lot of yoga instructors out there. And so if this is something where you want to enter into a field that has a lot of competition already, this can come up as a blockage with the Five of Wands, because you're kind of telling yourself, well, what there's already so many, like the field is already completely saturated. What makes me think that I can do this? Well, you have your own unique brand of wisdom. First of all, that you bring, you have your own unique energy. your frequency, your vibe will attract your tribe. So just don't let that stop you, is something that I was getting as well. Don't let the competition stop you. You're the only competition. The only competition you need to worry about is the one that you have with yourself. Okay, that's it. Four of Pentacles. Why do we have this Four of Pentacles? I need some context because it can talk about a couple different things. Hang on. This is working through fears. Yes. Some of you are afraid to let go of maybe, if this is about changing careers, some of you are naturally worried about letting go of your stability or the day job or whatever it is that continues to pay the bills while you work on what brings the joy and the passion onto your path. Okay. You know, it might actually be quite challenging to balance both at one time, but you don't necessarily have to let go of that stability. But usually there is a fear around, let's say I leave my day job and I become a full-time yoga instructor, that's a big leap, that's a big change. There's a little bit of this worrisome energy about, will I be able to make it happen? Will I be able to have the skills to pay the bills? Yes. The answer is yes. Sometimes when we have the Four of Pentacles, it talks about we can hoard, we can hang on. And if we stubbornly hang on to something because it has a solid foundation, we can miss an opportunity for growth. And then we can kind of stay stuck and stagnant, which is not what we want, right? So again, it's coming up with this Nine of Swords energy. Is it all going to work out? Should I leave my day job? Yes. I mean, you're not happy there. Okay. You're not happy there. Now, again, if this isn't about your job, if it's about a relationship or something else, please flip the vibe, right? It's the energy that we're talking about here. I feel like you are going to be a-okay. So even though you're feeling a little challenged or at odds about whether or not you should, do this or if it's going to work out, the Seven of Swords. Oh, why the Seven of Swords? Knight of Pentacles. I think with this Seven of Swords coming up here, there's a lot of, you're going to find that some of your inner saboteur. Okay, I feel like this is your inner saboteur kind of making itself known. So there is going to be a little bit of you kind of checking the ego, working with the inner saboteur who wants the familiar, who wants the stability, and I'm not saying that you're not going to gain that. You are. Knight of Pentacles is a slow going energy. You show up, you do the work, you continue to build every single day until you get there, and then it's wonderful. It's exactly what you wanted. And then even better most times with this Knight of Pentacles energy. Although it is a process, it is going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. But in the meantime, you're going to have to check yourself before you wreck yourself so that you don't talk yourself out of doing this, okay? Because it is something that you really want, right? And it is going to reveal some of that inner saboteur for you to work through and work with. I see the Ace of Swords here. I feel like you are... if you remain very, very clear about what it is that you want and what those desires are for yourself, nothing is really going to stand in the way unless you allow yourself to be the thing that stands in your way. Okay, I just have to say it. But I don't see that you're going to. I do see a lot of beautiful forward momentum, but it's just not. It's the right path for you, but it doesn't mean it's the easier path, right? But I feel like that you're qualified, okay? You're qualified. And a lot of times it's good to remind ourselves that, when we choose the path of least resistance, it doesn't always give the best results, okay? It doesn't always, you got to think about climbing the mountain. You can take the, I don't know why I'm seeing like a ski, like a chairlift, or you could climb the mountain. I feel you feel better after you've climbed it and you've accomplished the goal. You did the hard work. You know what I mean? There's something there. I don't know why it's coming through that way. Maybe some of you are deciding to go climb a mountain. I don't know. But it feels like a mountain. It feels like a really big challenge. It feels like maybe there's even other people trying to tell you that you shouldn't, or you mustn't, or it's not going to work, things like that. Tune them out, okay? They don't know what they're talking about. You know what you're talking about. You're qualified. It's not going to be an easy road, but you are going to make it, and it is going to be worth it at the end of the day. Okay? That's it. That's it. This change belongs to you, and you're hungry for it. Don't lose sight of the goal. And you got to work through the ick, right? There's going to be some of that. Don't let it stop you. Okay? You have the potential to really just accomplish what it is that you really desire here. Okay? But not without challenge. And it's internal, mostly internal. I don't even see it as being external. Okay? It's an internal struggle, but you've got this. I know you do. Okay, I'm gonna leave this with you, and yeah, if you want to like contribute and let me know what kinds of readings you're looking for, or if it's cool to just kind of like open up a spread and see what wants to come out. I'm keen to do both, either or. Let me know, yo. Some of you said you wanted to hear a little bit of the tea. And I will get to story time soon. I will. I will definitely get to story time soon. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to do some readings for the other channel. And thank you for being here. Thank you for joining our amazing collective of glowing goddesses here at the Divine Feminist. And I'll see you over at the Turning Tides Tarot main channel as well. Take care and have a blessed day.